no rules, no taboo topics, no fear of doom, We are American Freedom Radio.
All right, good evening, everyone, and happy Wednesday. It is, wow, I guess it's on the East Coast. It's November. Always remember the 5th of November. Holy smokes. Yeah, and guess who? It's the Big Bad Wolf, Christie Aphrodite, and I just want to say, if you all are here looking for a polished show, please make your escape now. Just a warning, okay? This just kind of came up out of the blue, and as a lot of you know, I'm not exactly in the best health, physically and mentally right now, but you know what? I'm not going to pretend. It's just, I really think it's time in humanity and society, if we really want to grow, if we really want to get real to heal, and all these things we talk about, we have to take the masks off. You know, it's time to come out of the closet. Holy shit, I'm human! Well, guess what? Hi, my name is Christy. I'm human. I suck at everything. I've made about every mistake in the world. Sometimes I feel so hopeless. I want to die, and I can't take it anymore, and I feel so lonely, and I feel anger and rage and all of these natural human emotions that everybody else does that we want to hate on and shame and blame and keep in the closet. And I would just like, for my path, as many of you know, it's kind of a struggle. And, you know, for some of you, it's like, wow, it's this big train wreck you want to watch from afar. You don't want to get very close, but it's like cheap entertainment, right? And you know what? I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. I don't regret anything. I'm not buying the, you know, any of the philosophies that or going around, which I'll talk about in depth during this show. But I just wanted to preface this. If you're looking for perfection, if you're looking for Christy as strong and healthy as she was 2 years ago last time she was on air, or 5 years ago when she still had her mind, this is not the place. So with that being said, I guess since I'm here, by the way, thank you all for being here and welcome, and I will be taking calls, and there is a chat room over at AmericanFreedomRadio.com, but, you know, I guess I just kind of want to update you all, what's been going on. There's, you know, rumors everywhere and this and that, so sometimes out of curiosity I'll find out who I am and what I've been up to in a blog. But here I am. So you got questions, ask me. This is the deal. All right. So I am in Washington area at this time. My health is better, as in I'm not having strokes anymore, and my brain isn't big and infected and causing paralysis and inability to walk and talk and those types of things. I can still talk, obviously. I'm sure you can hear the anxiety in my voice, but I ended up with a brain infection. It's you know, it's such a long process to actually find out what it is, so I'm probably going to say allegedly a lot, and I don't even have all the answers I would like to have, so I can't give you all the answers either, but a type of encephalitis that was possibly caused by neuroinvasive West Nile virus. Of course, that's another show. I might get into that. Just because these viruses might not be real according to their definition of viruses, and just because they're, you know, not, you know, they do exist. I'll tell you, they do exist. And I've kind of come a long way and done a 180 in a lot of things, you know. I was and maybe will be, again, but a holistic health coach. And I did everything naturally and, you know, kept up what I thought were the best eating habits and this and that and, all the natural anti-inflammatories and antibiotics and all, the way I always lived. But whatever this is or was, I was unable to combat as successfully as I was things of the past. And it affected me not only physically, I mentioned some of the symptoms, mentally as well. And I am trying to heal from that. As a result of this, that is just, one of the reasons I have not been on the air. It's not because I don't like it or, it's just life. There's more to doing a show than the 2 hours that you talk. And I'm not really, if you've listened to the show, I'm not a good beggar. And I don't really want to try to become one, but the fact of the matter is that if you want me back in radio as much as you say you do in your emails, then I just need to be honest with you. I need help. I have to eat too. And my current status right now is living in my vehicle. And, it's a cool van. By the way, it was donated to me from some beautiful people in a political activism group, and people have kind of helped carry me to this point here. And I don't want to make this like a poor me or anything. I'm telling you these things because, as I said, we're getting real. The masks are off. I'm not going to pretend that everything is perfect. And I gotta say, even though that's kind of always been the premise of my show, I mean, we've never done scripts or never it's not a show, isn't a program or an act or something scripted. It's something that's honest and raw and off the cuff. But you know what? I'm coming out of the closet. There were things I were not honest about. And one of those things is living in pain all the time and trying to fight that and to keep that happy face persona, the healer. I'm supposed to be healing you guys, right? Y'all came to me for help and went to my videos and went to my, and so I felt that I couldn't let anybody know that I was also suffering. And, I'm done doing that. I'm human too. So, and there are a lot of benefits of living in pain, actually. It got me to slow down a lot. I do, I call it stretching. Other people call it yoga. But I end up doing that 2 hours every morning because I have to. So, that there's good things like that. There's also the benefit that when you are in so much pain, it's easier to take risks. It's easier to do things, step out of your box that other people wouldn't, because it's like, dude, I've already lived through that, so what the heck? That's only a 600-foot cliff. Also, it teaches you, compassion in a big way. So, again, I'm not complaining, poor me, blah, 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 but look, if I'm going to have a chance in really coping in this world at all, I have to be me, all of me, and not be held to some high standard because I'm a radio show host and I'm supposed to be perfect, or because, I'm a holistic health coach and have a PhD in metaphysics and, I have blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Who cares? We are all human beings deep down, okay? And frankly, I'm just sick of everywhere I go seeing the divides between everybody, neighbors, brothers, sisters, families, everybody. For what? Because you want to give yourself a label? Oh, let's see, because you're so great, you're a Republican, or you're so great, you're a Democrat, or you're so great, you're progressive, or liberal, or libertarian, or you're gay, or you're straight, or you're, whatever, however you divide yourself, whatever religion you are, whatever, we judge people and shame them over the most ridiculous things. Yet we talk freedom, right? Oh, we all have free will. We all have freedom of choice. But you know what's really going on in society is we are shaming the fuck out of people. And you know what? I want to talk about something tonight because somebody brought this up on the show. And this all came up like really quick. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I haven't been on radio in 2 years. This is clearly not the most healthy time of my life and probably not the best choice either. But again, whatever. It's me. You don't like it? Whatever. Okay? I'm not living for anybody else. You're not paying my bills, right? You're not dressing me. You're not, you know what I mean? I'm not bought by anybody. So I don't have to pretend to be somebody I'm not. And I don't have to pretend that I'm not human because you guys want an icon or you want some perfect star, you know? Speaking of which, oh my God, thank you, Louie and Casey, who got me into South Park. But one of the episodes they did about Britney Spears was like seriously true insight. How, you know, people always want to follow someone or look up to somebody and build them into this perfect person. And there they are building them up, building them up, building them up. And then they get jealous or whatever. And then they take this great delight in destroying that same altar that they created. And you know, I've actually experienced a little bit of that. And that was one of the major reasons I didn't want to be in the public eye. And I really needed a break. I just had to get away because I never got in radio because I wanted somebody to look at me, you know, or because I thought I was smarter than somebody else, or, you know, I had experience in certain things that other people don't that I wanted to share. Okay, but I've never been an authority on anything. And these standards that other people want to hold me to, that's their problem. That ain't my problem. And I'm not buying it anymore. Okay, I know who I am and what I've done all these years and what I've been through, and it was all because of my desire to teach and share. And I'm not sure I always made the right decision. I just know that that's what makes me feel best. And, you know, I honestly don't know if I can do it. I really don't. But for some reason, there's some little glimmer of hope. It's probably part of my delusions, but, you know, obviously the bottom line is I'm here, so I'm trying. And somebody brought up in the text chat right before the show started, they wanted to talk about suicide and had some questions. So I do just want to say, if you do want to call in anybody or you have any questions, you can post them in the text chat. Go to AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And that's /chat.html, or you could go to the main page and click on Listen Live. But the phone number to call in is 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And, you know, the last couple nights I got to spend some time with Vinny Eastwood on his show and talk about some of these emotional aspects. So I really don't, you know, want to keep bringing up things that are going to make me cry. I want to actually talk about ways that we can help people and move beyond things and maybe things that we're looking at. But, you know, I mean, I guess it makes sense that somebody's going to ask me about suicide or depression. Why? Because I know a lot about it, okay? And screw you and your judgments if you have them, all right? Nobody, until you walk in somebody else's shoes, you have absolutely no right to point fingers, okay? And there's lots of varying factors. But, you know, she brought this up, and I was realizing that I have been doing a lot of reading about that. And, of course, I'm looking at it like, holy smokes, everybody I know wants to die. And, everybody's having a really tough time. It's an epidemic. What is going on with this? And, it causes me to search and such when I'm online. And I came across a statistic just a couple weeks ago on, I think it was suicide.org or SAVE, which is a suicidal, I don't know, whatever, suicide.org. And 112 deaths per day. People taking their own lives, suicide. 112 deaths per day right here in the United States of America. And you guys are more worried about gun violence? Well, according to alternet.org, and Alternet, let's face it, they do have good information, but they are kind of, leftist leaning. They're more of the type of political ideology that would want to take guns away from everybody. So, they are reporting that there's 18 people dying a day as a result of a fatal shooting. Okay, so gun violence, 18 deaths per day on average. Suicide, 112 per day. So why is it that we're not focusing on this epidemic? And it's so easy. We could say, oh, it's the fluoride in the water, or oh, it's the GMOs, or oh, it's chemtrails, or oh, it's the radio waves, or oh, all of these things that people want to reduce it to, or oh, that person must be weak, or oh, that person, whatever your judgments are. But look, when there's 750,000 reported attempts per year from the emergency room, that's 750,000 people. That's a lot of frickin' people. So when you want to go isolate that little dumb person that nobody cares about like me, or whoever, the people on the street, that you walk by that doesn't exist and you want to blame them, think about it. And if you were honest with yourself, you would realize that you felt that way at some point too. So, I see people on Facebook and they're like, oh my gosh, this, person committed suicide 5,000 miles away from me. Oh, poor thing. Look, dude, walk outside your front door, okay? There is somebody right there in your own neighborhood that, if not you, someone else that's thinking that exact same thing. And you can change their entire world with a smile. Okay. Here, I'm reading on the chat. My Marine classmate killed himself a few nights ago. Very sad. He was like our family member. Yeah. It's just tragic because it's everywhere, but it just really sickens me to see how disgusting people can be when they see these hurting people in need. So, I don't really buy the whole psychiatry industry and the diagnosis and this and that. But whatever's causing it, you can give it a label, depression, bipolar, chemical imbalance, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. The end result is the same, and it boils down to what? Hurting people. Okay? Call it whatever you want. They're hurting people. Are you a people? Have you ever hurt? So how would you like somebody to treat you in your time? Isn't that kind of what life is about? We're all, basically energy and, kind of feeding off each other. And, when one's up, the other might not be, and vice versa. And it's this big spiral effect, and round we go. Crazy town merry-go-round. But, we got to bring in the human factor instead of fearing these things so much because your brother committed suicide or your sister or somebody else knew you did. Clearly the proper effect or the proper help isn't running away, calling cops, getting them hogtied, forcing them into drugs or concrete floors for 18 hours naked, treated like an animal. Okay, you want to know how simple it is to actually help? I'm going to share a few things, not only that I've read, but things that I've experienced firsthand, okay? Now, I'm actually going to skim this information on suicide.org. It says how to help a suicidal person. Doesn't mean I actually agree with all of it, but I'm talking about it from my perspective as a suicidal person, not as an expert writing about it. At first it says if the person talks about using a firearm or whatever, call police. You know, they try to get you to call somebody right away. But honestly, that whole calling somebody else is pawning off responsibility. And, you know, how often does something good actually happen? Not often. Oh, this is hilarious. I just looked out in the chat. The Greek, he says, anyone who wants to see a psychiatrist should have their head examined. And that, yeah, I feel that way. But at the same time, man, you know, sometimes life is hard, and you don't know. What I have learned is that support, love, community, purpose, that's the cure. Another thing I know is drugs, abuse, hogtie, inhumane treatment, dehumanization, that does not work. How do I know? Oh, because I tried. I was drugged from the time I was a child, okay? Yeah, there was a reason I didn't go to doctors. I mean, the brain infection forced me in the hospital, but I mean, come on. You go to my old websites, mytrueessence.net or souljourneysradio.com. You can see me healing myself with natural stuff and teaching it for years. But, you know, I was alone. I had a brain infection, literally exploding. I could do nothing. The chick said, dude, I'm taking you. I flipped a coin. The coin said go. I'm like, all right. So they admitted me. So, oh well, you know, I took drugs for that couple weeks. So I guess it saved my life. But, you know, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. I do really want to talk about what you can do when someone around you is suffering. And just to stress those statistics again, okay, Alternet.org reports that 18 gun deaths per day. Okay? 18 per day. How many suicides per day? 112 per day. That is every 12.8 minutes, the fourth leading cause of death, which is suicide, is taking somebody away from you. And the last known statistics were 2013, so 41,149 reported. Okay, Russia Today, of course, May 3rd, 2013, reported U.S. suicide rates surge and surpass road fatalities, okay? Yeah, never mind pharmaceuticals and people taking them exactly as prescribed. Okay, that's another 250,000. All right, but, you know, it's really interesting because in 2001, the CDC reported 400,000 emergency room visits from self-inflicted harm. And now we're almost double that at 750 reported. And you know what? This 41,149 suicide deaths reported, that's just the people that people care about. How many people on those streets that, you know, are begging for a French fry or something die? Nobody's there to report it because nobody cares. Gone. Poof. You don't matter. Yeah, so you know what? I'm just, I kind of going off on a tangent, but things I've, you know, seen be in radio and, you know, of course on Facebook and all of these people, you know, talking about, compassion and, you know, oh, poor thing and go get help and go, you know what, if that help worked, why are rates going up? Clearly, it's not helpful. So I want to discuss things that are helpful. And thankfully, I have the best people in the world. by my side as my friends. And, you know, none of us are perfect, but hey, we're perfect for each other. And we're able to be real, which is the most important thing that you can do for someone you love. And hey, even do for yourself. But here, look at this. I'm reading some questions in the comments. Sorry, not questions, comments. That's over at the chat room at American Freedom Radio. She says, my Marine friend sadly used his gun to kill himself. Someone else just wrote, I have 2 friends that just jumped off bridges. Yeah, it is going around, and I just, you know, so now that we know, what's the solution? What can we do? What can we do in our daily lives? You know, I guarantee there is somebody, if you leave your house, or even if you don't, there's always somebody you can touch. And when I'm feeling good, that's what my purpose is. You know, I'll kind of ask God or my higher self, or honestly, I don't even know, so I don't even want to name it. But we'll just call it dude for now. Like, dude, please put me in a place where I can be a blessing to someone. And that'll come about in different ways. But seriously, we can practice that. And if we're not completely, totally suicidally depressed ourselves, and maybe just moderately, you know, we can still go out and help someone. I mean, you know, I was living on the streets, and this dude had Seattle, and, you know, rainy and cold, and his umbrella was flapping all over the place. It broke, and, you know, he didn't know I was homeless too. But when he found out, he's like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, well, let me think. What do I have in my car? You know, so I came up with duct tape and scissors and rope. And, you know, so I was still able to help someone even though I didn't have someone. Or have anything, really. You know, I didn't have money. I couldn't give him a cheeseburger or, you know, anything like that. But, you know, it was wonderful. When I started helping him, other people on the street started helping in other ways. And it was just a really beautiful thing. But my point is, you know, if we really want to make a difference in this world, we have to start living it. We can't just talk about it on Facebook or on a show. Hey, this is what you should do. Dude, get out there and do it. Okay? Sometimes a smile is all someone needs. People do not want to be fixed. You know if somebody wants to be fixed. If somebody wants to be fixed, they say, hey, can you help me with this? Right? Well, guess what? If that person didn't say, hey, can you help me with this? That's not what they want. And any word that comes out of your mouth after that moment is equivalent to nagging, and that is clearly not helpful. Okay? Because in some cases it could be considered a threat, like calling to take away your freedom by having cops hog tie you because somebody is afraid of your crying, or somebody is afraid of your pain. Really? So somebody who already feels traumatized and fearful, who really just needs love, who really just needs a safe place, you're going to threaten their worldly freedom with dudes with guns? Really? That's your solution? Hey, you know what? Why don't you try a smile? A smile, a phone call, a bowl of soup, chocolate, a joke. You know what? Us calling somebody else is diverting our social responsibility, okay? So instead of posting about it on Facebook or in shows or in whatever, hey, look at me, I'm so great, I'm an authority, do it. Do it. Yeah, so anyways, let me get back to this suicide.org. So, and this is good advice. It says, do not be judgmental. Do not invalidate anything that the person says or feels. The person is probably suffering a chemical imbalance in the brain. I don't know about that. I'm just reading the words. And thus could not possibly think clearly. Oh, I do agree with that. Be supportive and caring, not judgmental. Okay, so that's excellent advice. You don't have to agree with the way your loved one or whoever feels. You don't have to agree. Listen. Give them a safe place. Let them feel heard. Let them feel validated. Chances are they aren't getting that at home, or maybe they don't even have a home to get that at, or, whatever the case may be. You are not them. You do not know all of the events culminating up to this position in their life today. Okay? And you're not going to learn it in 3 seconds either. So if you really do care, listen. Don't invalidate their you should be stronger than that. Or, I went through that too, but I'm so great, so I did it this way. You're telling people that they're insignificant, which obviously leads to further loss. And you know what? Whether it's a chemical imbalance or not, maybe they're on some pharmaceutical drug. Maybe they have a messed up diet and they're eating too much sugar, or they have candida, or they have a brain tumor, or aneurysm, or other things going on. You don't know. People might be agitated once in a while. Big deal! Have you ever been agitated? Exactly. All right? Let's start being the change we want to see, not talk about it, okay? And this whole, people always say don't be judgmental, but aren't they the most judgmental? I remember, actually, one of my girlfriends is in the chat here, and this reminds me, she came to visit when I was in Branson, Missouri. And in Springfield, Missouri, the first Friday, they would have this big, there's the square in the center of town and the restaurants and bars, but they would have what I would refer to as the church wars. And if you caught some of my old street theater videos with the church people and stuff, it was hilarious because they have people holding signs saying God loves everyone, as they're screaming and yelling at you, or the people from the other churches that are holding a sign that says something different. So let's practice what we preach, okay? Just, you can't say, don't be judgmental just because you don't want anyone judging you. Practice that same freedom that you expect others to give to you. Yeah? All right. Okay. So, what's the next thing they say here? Be careful of the statements that you make. You do not want to make the person feel any worse than he or she already does. Again, the person is probably suffering blah, 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 chemical imbalance in the brain, and thus is extremely sensitive. Well, whether you're suffering from a chemical imbalance, an alleged chemical imbalance or not, clearly, if they're talking suicide, they're sensitive, right? So that's not the time to send them 15 emails and say, oh my God, you are so wrong. You brought all, and by the way, there is no right or wrong, but you're wrong for thinking that there is. And you brought all this on yourself, but hey, the blame game is lame. You shouldn't blame anyone, but I'm going to blame you because you did this to yourself, and therefore you deserve it because you've always been this way. Yeah, hint, hint. Definitely not the right thing to say. All right. So the next thing it says is listen, listen, listen. Be gentle, kind, and understanding. Again, allow the person to talk as much as he or she wants. Always listen attentively and encourage him or her to talk more. Be as gentle, kind, and understanding as possible. Well, that kind of seems like common sense, but I'm really glad they put that there because sometimes the human species seems to be a little bit lacking in the common sense department, but hey, who am I to judge, right? But seriously, you know what? All you have to do, don't just preach love your brother, right? Live it. And, sorry it's hard for you. You know what? I'll tell you what. The person hurting is scared to death to open up to you, okay? Chances are, from the moment you said, hello, how are you, they're holding back the tears, okay? And they know inside that when you ask that question, you really don't want to know. And we know that if we open up, we're going to be like, whoa, I mean, we could be locked up, right? Or we might not shut up, and we might, like, unload this waterfall of emotions. And, you know, so trust me when I tell you, hurting people do not want you to know they're hurting. Don't believe me? Go ask your dad how he's feeling. Right? Or any guy you know in your life. Right? Did he had a terminal illness? Yeah, probably not. Nope, I'm fine. Everything's great. I'm fine. Yeah, so, right? Do you want to go broadcast to the world when you're having a hard day, or when life, you feel like it's crashing in all around you, and for whatever the reason? Yeah? You want to go broadcast? No. Okay. Well, chances are the other people are the same too. So when you do ask, and if they do choose to take that risk to open up and, open up to you and share with them what's really going on, when they're sharing that gift with you, listen, don't judge them, don't fix them, probably after they get it all out of them, even if it takes 2 hours, even if it takes 4, they are going to feel, maybe it's only 20 minutes, they're going to feel so much better, and you know it, okay? I mean, holding on to emotions is like a toxic waste dump, okay? It's always boiling below the surface. And what happens when you just bury shit at the toxic waste dump? Oh, it seeps out into the groundwater, right? Into the rivers, maybe into the water supply, and then all of a sudden everybody's sick. You think it's any different with your own body? Yeah. So and everyone, any psychology book or magazine or class you've ever had told you this. So why is it so hard to put into practice in real life? Are we really afraid of the person grieving? Or are we afraid they're going to touch something in us or cause us to feel something we've been trying to avoid? Yeah. Okay, but again, it's time to take the masks off if we are going to have a chance at bringing this world to a better, more peaceful place, okay? Start with yourself, love your family, love your neighbors, love the people around you. Yeah, it's cool you love people 10,000 miles away, okay? But you know what? A lot of times that is actually just, it's a cover-up. Well, I'm going to wear this like a badge. I donated, my $5.99 to these starving people in Africa, but, oops, did I spit on that homeless person I kicked right outside my stoop? Right? So come on, it's a diversion. It's cool. Care about the people 5,000 miles away, 10,000, 2,000, 100. Care about them all. But don't ignore what's right in front of your nose, okay? You can't talk compassion, you can't talk healing, or what are all these stupid, ridiculous buzzwords everybody uses? What, ascension, or, I don't know, all that crap. You've heard it on my show before. Not from my mouth, though, but anyways. So the next piece of advice that suicide.org has is, let the person express emotion in the way that he or she wants. We had Dr. Annalise Widman on the show a couple times a few years ago, and she was a psychologist, but also a bioenergetics therapist. And we had her explain what that was on the show, because, I try to stay away from those kind of people, although I love to learn from them. But I had never heard of bioenergetics therapy, but apparently it's you scream it out or act it out or whatever that traumatic event that you were not given permission as a child or an adult or whenever, thanks to society's rules, to actually grieve for. But here it says on suicide.org, allow the person to cry, yell, swear, and do what is necessary to release the emotion. Duh! Think of the best music you've ever listened to, or the best poetry, or the best art you see. Where did that come from? Oh, yeah, feeling. You know, that's what's so funny about this. So, imagine me. Haha, don't. But if you've been around me, you understand. Or if I've been around you, I understand. So, imagine a normal, real, vulnerable human in their dark night, right? Well, you do that in public, and you got people running, you got people calling cops, you got people calling doctors, you got people probably throwing shit at you, okay? But if that same person was on stage and had a guitar in their hand, or was sitting at a cello, or at a piano or a harp, or had a microphone, you would apologize. You'd give him a standing ovation. You would say that was the best, most moving piece, play, production, whatever, concert you had ever seen, right? Because those are safe place to feel those emotions. You can experience them in a societally accepted way in TV, through the arts, this and that. But again, when it comes to real life, holy shit, burn her, right? So let's think about that. You know what? Shaming people, oh my God, don't use that language. Okay, dude, your dog just died, or maybe somebody ran him over, right? And you're rightfully angry with a hit-and-run person that killed your love. And you accidentally say a word that somebody deems is bad. So there they are correcting you. No, you can't grieve this way. You have to do it that way. Oh, Father, thou art in heaven. Oh, please, bless me and my dog, and thank you for our time, and I will never feel any anger. Really, dude? Fucking get real, okay? You don't have to grieve like me. I don't have to grieve like you. And I am certainly not going to tie you down and force you to grieve like me or shame you into it. And I hope you don't do the same. Okay? Again, treat others really how you would want them to treat you in the same situation. So, let's see if they have any other good information here. Let's see, after the person is blah, blah, blah. Yeah, anyways, you know what? The rest of it I think is kind of blah, 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 so you can read it and you can choose to agree with it or not. But those are the points that I really like. I think people really need to get away from trying to fix other people or tell them how they're supposed to feel. You know, one thing what we do to one another, and we do to ourselves too, okay? We're human, we're learning, we're not perfect, but we should on one another a lot, right? You know, and we should on ourselves, and that actually leads to depression and insecurity and all of those things we're talking about, right? Because, you know, oh, like the 50-year-old that lives at home. Oh, I really shouldn't be living this way. I should be in this position, or I should be making this kind of money, or, you know, the ex-model. I should still be wearing a size 6, or the current model. I should lose 10 pounds, or, you know, the mathematician. I should be smarter. I should be able to figure this out. I should this, should that. How do you know? How do you know what you should be doing? If you should be doing it, don't you think that you would be doing it? Yeah, I know, dude. I shit on myself so much. We all are our own worst enemies, okay? And I just think it's a shame that we're not really allowed to talk about it. And I think it's important to get it out there. By the way, recently, I do want to let you know, long-time listeners of the show, I guess it's been 9 years or some, God, yeah. We're 2000, holy crap, okay. Anyways, you know that my YouTube was deleted I do get emails often, people asking about this update and that update and the oil pooling and this and that. Well, for those of you who don't know, just a couple words on that. My site was completely deleted, no recourse, no response, no anything. And along with that, since you know most of my videos were direct live upload webcam videos and the trouble I had keeping my computers online, I had no way to download them. So all of those videos, every single thing, was lost. So if anybody has any of them downloaded to re-upload, that would be cool. But I personally am not allowed on YouTube at all. It doesn't matter what name I try to sign in under on my computer or my phone. I'm completely blocked. So, you know what I really would like to do, I came up with a new name, I have a new website, I have a new Facebook, and I actually have a vision for what I want to do. I just hesitate sharing the name here. Well, you know what? No, I just hesitate because the stalker issues are still very real, and they are still daily, and even when I was not online at all, and up to as recent as 3 days ago, that I have concrete proof of. So I just, unfortunately, I can't share everything, but I will share the vision of my intention if I am able to get back online and pull the show together, but I just have to make it very clear. I cannot do this alone. I have zero income. I'm still ill. And I'm homeless. And I don't have anybody, you know, to depend on. I don't have family. I don't have checks. I don't have, you know, anything like that. And I just have to say, as I've expressed on the Vinnie Eastwood show last night, that people want to think that internet slander doesn't carry over into real life. It absolutely does. Okay? When they had all my real work deleted and then replaced with all these slanderous stories, yeah, you go try to get a job. You think your potential boss doesn't Google you? They love me, they hire me on the spot, then a few days or a couple weeks later or whatever, after they Google me, I'm the devil and I'm not allowed to feed myself. And this has happened over and over and over. So I am in, the situation I'm in is a result of the culmination of events with my health and the stalking and the slander. So, if I am going to go back on radio and make my next vision and stuff come to be, I am going to need your help, whether it's regular donations or a gift. But yeah, I'll tell you what I need. I need a house. Let's see. I need a computer that works, that can handle radio and video. I need equipment. I need help on the website. I don't know how to do that stuff. I've always had Russ help me with that, and Louis help a little bit here and there, and God bless you, gentlemen, and thank you for all the time you've devoted. But, you know, life changes, and, you know, Russ is dying. Let's face it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, okay, in and out of the hospital, and he's not capable anymore. We need help. He put in 9 years, and thank you. I can't thank you enough, but I need help. So if we're going to make this happen, I need somebody to help with the website. I need somebody to help with technical stuff, being that I'm not allowed to post anything on YouTube at all. So I could make videos and somebody else could do it, or whatever. I don't know. I need your ideas. I need your suggestions, because I don't know. What I do know is that I'm tapped out. And Danny, God bless him, he's so cute and sweet. I have snot all over my nose, and dude, I am broken as can be. I'm a total mess. And he's like, hey, you want to do a show? Danny, are you blind? He's the sweetest man in the world, always wearing rose-colored glasses. But, you know, he encouraged me, and again, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just here, and I figure, you know what, let's be honest. I'll tell you my needs, and maybe we can make this happen. I would love to make it happen. I love my family at American Freedom Radio, and, you know, honestly, this is what gives me purpose. And, you know, I remember, one of my friends, and actually a couple people, but one of my very, very dear friends brought up to me recently, he's like, you know, Christie, it's like, you know, 5 years ago, yeah, things were hard, but, you know, you made it a little bit easier, right? Maybe I was able to fake it better. But no, you could tell in my voice and my skin, and, you know, I looked healthy and vibrant. I still had some life in me, right? But, you know, today I don't. And you know what the difference is? I have no purpose. 5 years ago, I had a purpose. I had a family. I had children. I had a show. I had clients. I had people that depended on me. I had people that loved the show, the text chat. I had friends. I had neighbors. I had a garden. I had people to feed. I had purpose. And I don't have that anymore. And that in itself, you know, could also be contributing, but I just got to say honestly, I can't do any more for myself right now. The best thing I could do each day, honestly, is try to not kill myself. So it is what it is. Judge me whatever it is. And whatever it is, clearly I'm incapable of overcoming it. You people that have been on my path, and you watched when my children were kidnapped, you watched when I was shot with laser weapons in my eyeball live on the air, you watched when I was arrested live on the air, you watched when I was in a wheelchair and healed myself, lupus and cancer. You saw this. You were there. You know I'm a badass. I'm not anymore, okay? I don't have those capabilities anymore. So if I did have the answer, I would have fixed it. And I really don't need any emails telling me to eat coconut oil and turmeric, okay? So it's not lack of knowledge and health. It's just whatever it is, whether it's an energetic factor, which, hey, that's something, you know, these other influences we need to talk about, whether it's microwaves, whether it's black magic, whatever it is. All I can say is that it is beyond my capabilities at this time. I don't want it to be, and I keep hoping, but the fact of the matter is, you have to have money to live in this world, period. You have to. You have to have money to buy toilet paper to wipe your ass. You have to. You have to have money to pay your rent, your electricity, your sewer, your water, your internet connection, your gas, you have to. And without it, you are completely dehumanized, trivialized, and insignificant. And that is the life that I have lived the past 2 years. So yeah, I'm sorry it got to me. You do. I'm human. Hey, I hear the music, and we'll be back. Thank you for being here. We'll see you on the other side. One more hour here, AmericanFreedomRadio.com.
When we step back and we look at Christie, and even Vinny as an example, and I'm curious to see how it works with him, he has such a much larger audience and has hit it in a different angle, different way. But when you look at it, who her father is and who he associates with, which is the world leaders, the Bushes and the Clintons and the Illuminati and the Bohemian Grove group that do use dark energy and dark spiritual practices in the sacrificing of children and drinking their blood and burning their flesh in old-style rituals to maintain their power base and to keep us under wraps. And then you look at Google, and they're the top of the range, and they're all we know that Facebook and Google and YouTube and all is owned by some dark ops of the U.S. government. Then we recognize that Christie is being, those people know her by her name. Somebody up there knows her by her name, and they have spoken and said, shut her the fuck down. And they've done everything. They've isolated her. They've done everything to take her out of the play. And it's because she has been successful at what she does. She didn't come out here to get a job. She didn't come out here to find a niche to fill and sell something to somebody. She came out here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to take no shit and to find the truth. And guess what? By exposing the lies, and there are very few that she hasn't exposed, and it's all on the records at truthbrigade.com and at souljourneysradio.com. It's all on the record. She's exposed it. Not only has she exposed it, but she's been a major player in being a part of the developing solutions. And when you take the work that she's done and you match it up with the work that
I was listening to Tara Joyce on Freedom of Joyce on American Freedom Radio. I believe it was on 11/03/2015, and she had a guest on, Karen Ann McDonald. One of the things she was talking about was the free energy is here, it's a reality, the Quiche Foundation plasma build. And she has reported that over 2,000 people worldwide were putting these free energy kits together. So the point is that's just one aspect of cannabis. Hemp are on the rise. We're starting to see increase in the use of hemp and cannabis. So it's just not a time to quit right now.
But it's really exciting. I watched the video of the machine being made, and it's true, and you can create megawatts of power in your backyard by turning a device with your hand. And if you were to hook it up to a windmill, or even put your children on and you got 4 children and put them for 2 hours a day pedaling, you can create enough power to power your house for the day. And then it also does, it deals with, it's just fascinating. So I say that we stay the fight, we stay the course, and we take our hits and we go up and down, and we aren't in this alone. We are reaching a breakover point. And as I talk to people day to day in the medical industry and in the industries that I pass through in my travels in this phase of my life, I have yet to find one human that doesn't say, you know what, Mr. Dove or Russ, you're right. I agree with you. And I even had the opportunity to tell one the other day, you just keep pressing, and because I've made the statement of like, well, you know there's something wrong and you know you need to do something, but what can you do? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, don't worry, we're working diligently for at some point in the not so distant future when you actually reach that point, we'll have something for you to do. And so, at any rate, you know me, I could go on forever. I want to thank you, Christie, for being on the air tonight and for sharing with me. I just needed to vent that out. Christie's not just the physical body needs to live. I need to know what Christie learned in the last 9 years in her head. And when I hear what I hear, I'm loving the little bit that I get to hear. And I'm looking so forward to seeing her back on air again and doing what she's doing, because she's had this time in the last 9 years to parse some things out. And with the strong, discerning spirit that she does have, she's been able to rightly divide the truth. And I just am excited about the opportunity to hear her talk about it. God bless you, Christie. I love you, dear. I want everybody to join me in doing anything you can to help her. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you. That was beautiful.
You can help today by going to souljourneysradio.com and clicking on the Pitch In button in the center of the page, or the GoFundMe Fund for Christie in the right-hand column. Thanks again for all your support.
No rules, no rules, no taboo topics, no taboo topics, no fear of doom, no fear of doom. We are Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back. Top of the second hour here tonight. I don't know, it's like a habit to say it's Soul Journeys Radio, and technically, I mean, it is. We're all on our soul journey, and I'm sharing my soul journey with you. But there is something new coming, so welcome back, American Freedom Radio. And seriously, by the way, Danny and everyone have been working so hard to rebuild the network, and they really need your support. We have some awesome hosts on the network, some new, some of your old favorites, some of your new favorites. In fact, I'm so blessed. We have the Greek. He was my favorite caller all time. And anyways, he now has his own show with Chuck Ocelli. It's called Ocelli in the Greek, and they're on live Saturday night. So check out the calendar at AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And yeah, that's so cool. It was such a nice surprise to know my favorite caller ever in 9 years of radio now has his own show, and right here in our happy little family at American Freedom Radio. But check it out. You know, we're trying to work on a lot of things here, and we need your support. And look, I don't want to make this a poor, I hate that, okay? I hate that. And it's, you know, maybe it's society conditioning, but this is reality, okay? I'm not the only one that's been hurt, or Vinny, you know, Danny too, most of the people on the network. And, you know, there's a reason for it. We're the only network that doesn't tell you what you can or can't talk about. Okay? You don't have somebody standing over your shoulder, oh, well, you got to push this and you can't do that. Listen to the shows, man. You know, you might have, we're all totally different and unique. We all have our unique and individual set of beliefs, and it's okay. And it's nurtured and it's nourished and it's welcomed. And where else do you get that? You know, so if you really do appreciate diversity, if you really do appreciate corporate-free radio, if you really do appreciate free speech, well, help us. Because you know what? There's other people out there that don't believe in free speech, and that is why they're shutting us down. So if you have ideas or something we can do to help the network, maybe you can share it with your friends too. You know, please share it with us. So check out everything we're doing at AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Look forward to changes. I hear he's also working on a revamp of the website and things like that as well. But, you know, keep checking back and, you know, do what you can. I know you love us. Everybody out there says AFR is the best network ever. So, you know what, it's time to just really... Wouldn't it be cool if we were the phoenix rising from the ashes and we were all able to make it out of this orchestrated funk? Yeah, I think so. And we love you too, and that's why we're here, and that's why we keep trying despite the crises, okay? So, you know, again, I'm Christie. I'm not perfect. I'm clearly in... you know, not my best health, but whatever. I'm not going to hide it, and if you expect perfection again, you know where the little red X is. By the way, if you can't listen from your computer, you can listen from your smartphone on tunein.com, or the app is called TuneIn Radio, and you can actually set it up to where you get alerts too before the shows, so... Anyways, and the streaming on your cell phone, it takes up like hardly any data, so that's a nice convenient way if you're not home. But yeah, we need your support, and here we are again. So again, no more blah blah. I'm a very blessed woman, you know, despite my challenges, and that's one thing I'm really learning about life is the deeper the depths, the higher the heights you can soar. And, so I might be freaking drowning right now. Oh, well. We all do it. So, if you want to give me a hand up, cool, here I am. And by the way, the website, souljourneysradio.com, does still exist. I have no ability to work on it. Russ is dying in the hospital. Sorry, it is what it is. I need help. I have the new domain. I have the new YouTube. I have the new everything. And basically, I want to focus more on healing. And that is what Soul Journeys Radio was. Every day we learned to garden, we learned herbs, we learned how to cure cancer, we learned all of these things. But I really want to work on the emotional aspects and the things society tells you not to talk about. And speaking of which, on Facebook, I did start a couple new groups I'd like to tell you about. My other groups, by the way, kind of got hijacked. My True Essence page hijacked. Free the Boobies, the group I started, hijacked. And, whatever, it happened. So that's another reason I want to start fresh, clean, something that isn't hijacked in any way, shape, or form yet, but, I want to have, and I've never been one for big names and experts and authoritarians, but, we've had a few kind of experts, or at least people that think they are, on the show, and I just don't want that anymore. I want real people only. If you have a story, did you heal from a trauma? I want to hear how you did it. I'm tired of reading it in books with other people that haven't been there telling you what to do. I think it's time for real people to come out of the closet and share their real human struggles. And you know what? Say you're not going through that. That's okay. It's going to help you be more compassionate with somebody else and vice versa. So I really want to focus on that. I want to focus on humanity as a whole. Okay, I'm having a hard time putting it into words because I don't want to give away the new names just because I have had so much hijacked. I've had Butterfly Effect hijacked. I had the interview hijacked. I had Truth Brigade hijacked. God, I can't even remember everything I've started anymore. It's funny what my brain decided to remember after the brain infection, but clearly, it's not as sharp as it used to be. But anyway, so the groups on Facebook, one of them is called Friends of Trauma-Related Illnesses. And it's a closed group, by the way, so that means it's private, which means you can be honest and you don't have to worry about your mom or your brother or your children or your cousin or somebody seeing what you're writing, coming up in their home feed post. So if you want to join a group of truly compassionate, it's a very small group too, beautiful group, beautiful people, compassionate people sharing their experiences, what they're learning, how they're coping, or if you want to share how you're doing it or whatever, that group is called Friends of Trauma-Related Illnesses. And as soon as my computer lets me, I will post that link in the text chat. And the other group, of course, the Soul Journeys radio group still exists, and the Christie Aphrodite page, the public page, it's called Christie Aphrodite of Soul Journeys Radio. I know a lot of people send messages there, but because I'm not allowed to exist in the Akashic records, Google, other people have to run the page for me every time I get erased. So sometimes it's Louis the comedian, and I'm really sorry. By the way, so I got that link in the text chat. The other group is called Questions You Are Not Allowed to Ask. That's on Facebook as well, and I started that because I just got tired of people telling me what I'm allowed to ask. There's like awakening groups or health groups or psychopath whatever groups, and sometimes if you ask the wrong question, they not only don't want to answer it, they want to kind of gang up and ostracize. And you know what, frankly, I have way more questions than I have answers. So Speaking of which, if you have questions or if you have answers, please give us a call. And I mean all of us. That's me, myself, and I. The phone number is 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525, and I'll get the other Facebook. But again, American Freedom Radio, all the hosts, the producers can really use your help. Share it on your pages, in your social network. Share it in your groups or, whatever you have going on. And, this isn't about, I don't know. It's so weird. I've really kind of seen a lot being in media and alternative radio, and people think it's like a competition. Well, I have to be better than that one, or I have to go in this time slot and get more listeners than them or knock them out. It's like, I don't know, some of those shows like Survivor or Big Brother or something, and you're going to vote them off the island. But it's just so silly because, look, there's over 7 billion people allegedly on the planet. We all have different ways of going about things. And, 2 or 2,000 people or 200,000 or 2 million might have the exact same goal, but they have different communication styles, or they have different ways of getting there. Some people more fiery, some people more earthy, some people more airy, some people more watery, some people more aggressive, some people more passive, whatever it is, we have room for more than one in this one way in this globe, in this planet, in this world, this universe, this multiverse, this whatever it is. Maybe it's a flat earth. Who knows? I don't care. I'm just kidding. I don't think it's flat, though. It doesn't really look like it, but whatever. I'm not going to debate that with anyone. Anyways, if I have any friends out there, if I have any friends left that have been able to deal with me and my chronic pain and brain infection and loss of memory and stress and anxiety and depression and homelessness and whatever, if I do have any friends out there, feel free to give me a call, 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And, if you want to keep talking about what we can do to help people and, hey, I want to know what you think. Why is it that we hear about gun violence everywhere you go, every single day? But you don't hear shit about suicide. 18 gun violent deaths per day, 112 suicide deaths per day. 750 reported emergency room visits. Yeah. What's going on, people? What do you think? Have you experienced it? Do you have any advice? Do you think that there's something we can do? Is it, is it programming? I mean, like I was talking about before we went to the break. Food, diet, the way we cope or don't cope, can have a lot to do with it. Yeah, it could have a lot to do with the rising inflation and people getting edged out. And I actually read an article today that suggested it had something to do with the high rates, prescriptions of opioids. And in fact, let me find this one article. I posted it in the Soul Journeys group on Facebook, by the way, so that's still there. It's Soul Journeys Radio, and I'll change everything if I do, in fact, get the help that I need to go back on the air with my new vision. But I do intend on having a lot of videos, a lot of real interviews, real topics, the ones that everybody wants to shame you for or hide or, oh, that's too negative. I don't want to talk about that. Can you just pay your taxes so we can go kill more innocent people over there? Yeah, because you know what? They're brown. They're on the other side of the line. They just, yeah, okay? Come on, people. I mean, gosh. frustrating. We got to wake up from this, kids. But all right, wow, I just see 2 callers just came on. So let's see if I know how to do this right. And I'm sure you're probably sick of hearing my voice anyway. I sure am. Oh, we got another caller on too. I'm trying to unmute the first one here.
Hi.
Oh, it's working?
Yes, it is.
Yay! Hey, I do have a friend.
Hi.
Oh, honey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Oh.
Better.
Yeah, you had a rough week, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm in welding right now, and our good old buddy Simon killed himself the other night, so it was really rough.
Wow.
Kind of unexpected, but yeah, I've been. And then I have a couple of other friends that have been coming to me for advice and talking about their suicide issues and how suicidal. I mean, one of them is very suicidal on and off lately, and then another older guy in my class who's been going through a lot of PTSD, a lot of issues in his life, and it's been really rough. But yes, I find it confusing sometimes just how to be there for someone, not, push the boundaries too much, but be there.
It's a fine line. It really is. And I just, you know what, I want to thank you, sweetheart, for being there for me. I think you're awesome at it. And, oh, crap! When I was talking about things that we could do to help, maybe I'll bring it up here with you. You're very good at that, by the way, which is what made me think about it. But another thing I wanted to bring up when I was talking about things that could help, and I'd like to hear your opinion, but this is what I have to say. Suicide.org doesn't say this. This is what I say. Mm-hmm. Give them permission. Give them permission. Not just to feel, but also give them permission to have the right to make their own decision whether they want to take their life or not. And you want to know what? Come on, let's do this. You tell everybody to, your parents are going away, right? And Johnny, you can have anything in the kitchen, but don't touch the cookie jar, right? That's the only thing you're going to want. Anything that somebody tells you not to do, you're naturally going to want to do it just to frickin' prove them wrong and say, don't tell me what I can do. That's just natural human instinct. So the worst thing you could do, or one of, is tell them they can't make their own choices. Okay? Once you give somebody permission, at least in my case, I'm like, oh, thank God, at least there's one choice in my life that I can make. And that is extremely liberating because you don't get to suicide for no reason. Obviously, you already feel you've been boxed into a corner, your choices have been taken away, and to take that last one away, you get the negative, the opposite effect that you want. So that's my last piece of advice I wanted to share. But you've kind of been in the midst of it, haven't you? Mhm.
Yeah, I even thought, with that Marine, it's like that it was a choice. We live, we die, and I guess he just decided to, whatever state he was in at the time, what he chose. I mean, you can't hold it against someone. You can't even figure out what you could have done better to help them. It's their free will.
Yeah, and getting mad at somebody for their feelings. Come on, you don't have to agree with them, but getting mad at them can only make it worse.
Yeah. Because who doesn't? I mean, there's somebody in my class today that just had a all-out tantrum and threw his piece of metal all over the floor. I mean, it's some people just. You have to express, and can't say that was wrong, or unprofessional. It's like everybody's in a place where it's just not accepted to have tantrums in this society.
Yeah.
And it should be. Nobody's hurting anybody doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe these tantrums would be less often if we were allowed to even just communicate, say the words in the first place, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, tantrums don't just come out of nowhere. They're often months, years, decades of repressed anger. So what if we just dealt with the situation right there, got it out of our system?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you have somebody close to you that went through the same thing, but, it didn't work. Have you learned anything along the way that maybe you can share with the rest of us, or maybe things that could have worked for them, or that you want to share?
What do you mean? You mean helping
somebody else who had a suicide issue close to you?
Yeah, well, I guess my personal thing is to get over guilt of not feeling like I helped enough. Because sometimes when a person is in that state, they don't want to tell you that they're going to do it, so you can't do anything about that.
Yeah, they don't want you to be disappointed in them, right?
So,
like, oh my God, she's tried so hard to help me, I can't let her down.
Exactly. So you do have to, in a sense, let a person go. I mean, that's what I've learned. It was hard. I mean, I really did let go of that person because I knew, I had deep down inside, I knew that that's what she wanted to do. But, yeah, you do. But still, even letting go, I was there. I didn't let her go, but I let her go. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but.
Yeah. Well, you let her make her own choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't turn your back on them, start criticizing them or bashing them or saying that there's something wrong with them or, that sort of thing. I think that's inappropriate.
Yeah. Oh. And thankfully, she's still in your life, so yay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you've been an amazing support to her like you have for everyone else. So thank you for that on behalf of everyone's suffering. There really are people that won't judge you, and it's okay. I mean, that's the thing, about chronic pain and these types of, I have an autoimmune issue, and there's other, whatever. The tests aren't all definitive at this point in time, but whatever. These are invisible illnesses, okay? So you're not in a wheelchair, so you're not on crutches, or so you don't have, a missing limb. You might still have a pretty smile. You might still smile through the tears, but these are invisible illnesses, and they are trauma-related, as in, I would say almost every, if not all illnesses. Yeah. So what we need is compassion, not censorship or dehumanization or fingers pointed. We do that enough ourselves.
Well, I have a friend that's coming to me because of his he's all of a sudden facing all of his past child abuse right now, and we met in college like 8 years ago, and that's when my family member was going through a suicide episode, and I was traumatized at the time. And when he first met me at that time, he thought I was kind of weird and crazy or quiet or, like, what is so wrong with that person? Like, what the fuck is wrong with her? I mean, that's what he came to me and told me. He goes, I can't believe how much I judged you because I didn't see what you're going through. And now I understand because I'm going through it myself, you know. So, yeah, it's, you don't know. That's the thing. I think the best thing is to maybe question a person. Like, hey, you notice something odd about this person. Hey, what's going on? Simple as that. Hello?
Oh, there I am. I'm sorry. I guess I accidentally muted myself. Sorry. I'm like, yeah, what a novel idea. Ask a question. You know, don't just assume you know or judge or shun. Be that person you think you are. Be that person you pretend to be on Facebook in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Exactly.
honey, it is so good to hear your voice. And you are such a beautiful warrior woman and so talented. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You are too, woman.
Whew! All right, we almost made it through 2015.
Yes.
All right, honey. Well, is there anything else you want to add? We have a few other callers on the line.
Oh, you go ahead and take those calls. I'll get off. Okay.
Okay.
Love you.
All right,
Thanks.
honey. Love you too. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Let's see if I can do this right and get to the next callers. Here we go. It looks like, our good friend Casey. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, though. Is there a Casey in the house?
Maybe I called the wrong show. Is this the white privilege topic tonight?
Yes, you found us.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hey. How you doing, dear?
Hey, I guess I'm hanging in there. Thank you.
Hey.
Aww.
Well, for starters, it's good to hear you back on the radio, if only for a brief night or whatever that may present, hopefully in the future, to get you back on. But, see, there's an example of my issues is I guess I like to break the ice and make funny jokes and blah, blah, blah. But I know in my case, there hasn't been a day, I would say 90% of the days since I was 10 years old, I hadn't thought about it. I know. So I guess, the way I see it is I grew up with this sort of thing every day. And in some sense, I'm learning more and more that it is taken, it's traumatic, to have to go through that early on in life and your brain's developing or whatever, that it is. And I know when I deal with people at times that are going through stuff, for the most part, I used to think I was good at handling it because I was so used to it. But while that was going on, I wasn't dealing with the stuff that's going on with me. And, as I'm advancing in age, I could see where a lot of people, and I'm just going to use generalities because that's just what I do. But, I'm not really addressing enough of what's been happening with me. I mean, I could remember the first time I called your show 6 years ago.
Oh.
And I remember Leah was on the show. It was the first time I called, and I think that was I remember I brought up my mom, and she was the catalyst of a lot of suicidal stuff. I mean, it was 2 times a week I'd get dragged downstairs at about between 1 o'clock in the morning to 3:30 in the morning or whatever to hear how bad it was for her. And now that I look at it 6 years later, I guess I started to address it when you first came on, and I want to thank you for that because it's one of those things. What you resist persists, and even after all this time, it's still there. It's still that monkey on my back, and I don't know. I'm still dealing with stuff even at this age, and the way, I guess, what helps me personally and is try not to go out like that, because in the deepest parts of my soul, and I know that's probably the same for you and many others listening. It's one of those things I don't want to take myself out like that. Doesn't mean it isn't there, but at least I'm getting better at dealing with it. But it's not easy. But I guess anything in life that you want has got to be hard, and that's what makes it so much fun. But
well, Casey,
yeah.
is there? I mean, how are you getting better at coping? Do you have some advice that maybe you can offer some of us white privileged females?
Yeah. Well, I know one thing, and I guess sometimes it's what I've told people, and I've had to take my own advice, is try to help, to get out of your own stuff, try to help somebody else. But at the same time, don't do it to the point where you forget, what you're dealing with. But, I mean, that's, I guess, the easiest thing for me. It may not work for you or anybody else, but that's what I do. So that's kind of where I go with it. Times are tough, and I'm grateful for the friends that have been there for me. They'll remain nameless, but they know who they are. But I just take it day at a time. That's pretty much how I do it. I'm more of right now seeking, trying to find what other people do, and maybe that'll help me. Because I think more often than not, we're all kind of stealing from each other in some sense, in the sense of, what may work for someone I don't care for, I will learn something from that person and try to incorporate it in, my everyday life. I don't do it perfect. I got a perfectionist streak. You either try to do it perfect or just don't do it at all. Well, I got to get in the middle somewhere and find that better, that easier middle ground. So, it's like you said, it's a journey. It's not always fun, but I'm still here, and I do what I can for who I can, and let the chips fall where they may.
Yes, that's all we can do, and we are all students and teachers of one another, so yeah.
So, but I'm glad it's good to hear you again. It's good to hear Pablo Cruz again. I forgot that song.
Yeah, Danny. He always picks the best music, and apparently I missed it, but he's like, I know what we could do. And so he played that song, and I just bawled. I'm like, there is no way I'm going to be able to get on the air. As soon as I hear that song, I'm going to be all...
Yeah.
Sniffles and cries and but hey, we made it.
Well, that's okay. We can buy stock and Procter and Gamble and get more Kleenex to the people. So
seriously, or we could come out with our own Kleenex brand, I guess, and buy our own stock, huh? Hemp is better than cotton, anyways.
Yeah, and to keep it, more than just white privilege, we'll call it the Moco's catcher. We got to do it for the rest of the folks. So, but, anyway, I love you, and I'm proud of you.
I love you too.
Proud of you, sweetheart.
All right, honey. Well, you hang in there, and thank you for being my friend and for being there and calling in and sharing, and hey, you kind of came out of the closet tonight, didn't you?
Well, yeah, it's full.
You have no more room.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I'll just keep at it, honey. You know how we do it.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know how we try, and sometimes are better than others.
Amen. Amen to that.
All right. Well, thanks so much. It's awesome to hear your voice.
You too, sweetie. You take care, and I love you.
All right. Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it is so good to hear from these beautiful people. Thank you so much, everybody. It's so nice to be here. And I feel like I'm home, and I am home. So I don't know if whatever you can do. I know times are hard for everybody, but I'd really like to be back. I'd like to bring more shows, kind of along the same lines as before. But I'm going to take it up a notch. And again, I don't want to give the name and stuff here right now. Because, I'm sorry, I'm not being a negative Nancy, but the sabotage, the stalking, the hijacking, these things are real. And I am learning to be a little bit smarter. I'm still naive as hell, and that sucks. But what do? You only know what you are. So, hey, I could be guilty of much worse, I'm sure. So, anyways, we have Russ on the line, too. And again, the phone number is 218-339-8525. If you have something to add, that's 218-339-8525. But we have our good friend, Russ. How are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm trying to get back in my closet, damn it. But it's just like Casey's. It's full. I can't hang out there anymore.
You're trying to what?
Get back in my closet.
Oh, all right. Oh, so are you coming out of the closet too?
Hey, I've inside of myself, I've been coming out of the closet. I just don't have an audience to share it with. But and forgive me for a couple of things. One, I'm sitting in a truck with a little makeshift light here, a flashlight in a cup, and the cup's glowing, give me a little light. I'm on a speakerphone, and I have no teeth. So if I sound odd or if at any point you can't hear or understand what I'm saying, somebody give me some feedback, please, because this is something I have to practice at and something I haven't had much practice at late. So at any rate, I want to first take a minute and say, Christie, why do you prophesy my death? I'm not dying. I just chose a different poison. So you chose hemlock and poison shrooms, and I'm just taking as much of that chemo as free chemo they'll give me.
Oh, okay, so taking 4 days in a row of chemo and blood transfusions and in and out of the hospital, let's see, 3.5 weeks to the last 4 weeks, and you're going to tell everybody you're healthy, and really?
No, of course, well, I'm not.
Why don't you be honest?
Well, I was trying to throw a humorous in there. I will continue to say that, as I said in the chat, I do not believe that I will die. I believe I'm a man of faith, and that's the core of my existence. And I'm no longer living on blind faith. I'm living on assured faith. But that's a whole series of discussions that I didn't mean to get into tonight. I'm just saying, I'm already proving the statistics wrong. I should be dead by now. And I'm not going to. I have friends who are going to meet with me in the next day or two and make sure I have a steady supply of raw organic fruits and vegetables to augment my boost. And chemo, and lymphoma, they're all,
I didn't say anything.
Okay, they're almost a life force of their own, and my body reacts to the world around it in a different way when I'm in this condition. And absolutely, I'm not saying I'm healthy. As a matter of fact, over the next 5 to 7 days, I will reach the point where I don't want to do anything but sleep. I got to experience a lot of new things here. And as just an observer and a passerby, I enjoy observing new things. And as you said, for us to reach the height that we desire, we have to go as deep as it is required to reach that height. And I'm not making excuses for myself. I look at it like this. I have limited resources, and I have a very dear and special friend who is worth more than I am myself to me. I just realize that the only way I can help her is if I maintain a minimal requirements of myself. And so I don't have a lot to give, but all that I have left over, she gets, because I believe her life is just as important as my life is. And so I don't have the money or the resources to eat right, and I don't even come close. I mean, even with just what I have, and so it's better I give a little extra to you, and that at least gets you by, keep you from starving to death, keep you from not being, blah, blah, blah. But the chemo and the drugs are provided to me freely, in abundance, as much as I want. And the fact of the matter is that the tumor is responding and is shrinking. And if I can get to that point, then I get to take part in a rare opportunity for American citizens today, unless you're wealthy, and that's a stem cell implant. And I don't have the result of what the outcome's ultimately going to be, but enough of that. I'm just saying I'm not ignorantly doing what I'm doing, and if I could do it other ways, I surely would. As far as suicide goes, I've been suicidal since age 40. I'm 59 right now. And I manage it by, first of all, by faith. And back when I was 40, I asked Dude, the unseen one, the one who's got it all figured out, and I don't. That's why I hang out so closely with it. Neither a man or a woman, the spirit that we can't even start to define. But the spirit is real. And there's a certain book that if you read it for what the book says, and fuck anything man says about it, throw all man shit out about it, you will find information that's useful to your application in your day-to-day living. But I find that I'm so engaged now in my projects, in my life, in my... When we sit back and we look at Christie, and even Vinny as an example, and I'm curious to see how it works with him, he has such a much larger audience and is hit it in a different angle, different way. But when you look at it, who her father is and who he associates with, which is the world leaders, the Bushes and the Clintons and the Illuminati and the Bohemian Grove group that do use dark energy and dark spiritual practices in the sacrificing of children and drinking their blood and burning their flesh in old-style rituals to maintain their power base and to keep us under wraps. And then you look at Google, and they're the top of the range, and they're all we know that Facebook and Google and YouTube and all is owned by some dark ops of the U.S. government. Then we recognize that Christie is being, those people know her by her name. Somebody up there knows her by her name, and they have spoken and said, shut her the fuck down. And they've done everything. They've isolated her. They've done everything to take her out of the play. And it's because she has been successful at what she does. She didn't come out here to get a job. She didn't come out here to find a niche to fill and sell something to somebody. She came out here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to take no shit and to find the truth. And guess what? By exposing the lies, and there are very few that she hasn't exposed, and it's all on the records at truthbrigade.com and at souljourneysradio.com. It's all on the record. She's exposed it. Not only has she exposed it, but she's been a major player in being a part of the developing solutions. And when you take the work that she's done and you match it up with the work that I was listening to another set of hosts on AFR. The young lady, the Joyce Justice or whatever it is, comes on a couple hours earlier. And the new energy machine, there's a new experiment going on. And I'm sorry I come at you with such little information, but it's really exciting. I watched the video of the machine being made, and it's true, and you can create megawatts of power in your backyard by turning a device with your hand. And if you were to hook it up to a water well, a windmill, or even put your children on and you got 4 children and put them for 2 hours a day pedaling, you can create enough power to power your house for the day. And then it also does, it deals with, it's just fascinating. So I say that we stay the fight, we stay the course, and we take our hits and we go up and down, and we aren't in this alone. We are reaching a breakover point. And as I talk to people day to day in the medical industry and in the industries that I've passed through in my travels in this phase of my life, I have yet to find one human that doesn't say, you know what, Mr. Dove or Russ, you're right. I agree with you. And I even had the opportunity to tell one the other day, you just keep pressing, and because I've made the statement of like, well, you know there's something wrong and you know you need to do something, but what can you do? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, don't worry, we're working diligently for at some point in the not so distant future when you actually reach that point, we'll have something for you to do. And so, at any rate, you know me, I could go on forever. I want to thank you, Christie, for being on the air tonight and for sharing with me, and I'll stick around and have conversation, but I just needed to vent that out. Christie's not just, the physical body needs to live. I need to know what Christie learned in the last 9 years in her head. And when I hear what I hear, I'm loving the little bit that I get to hear. And I'm looking so forward to seeing her back on air again and doing what she's doing, because she's had this time in the last 9 years to parse some things out. And with the strong, discerning spirit that she does have, she's been able to rightly divide the truth. And I just am excited about the opportunity to hear her talk about it. God bless you, Christie. I love you, dear. And I want everybody to join me in doing anything you can to help her. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you. That was beautiful. And I wouldn't hang up, but I'm looking at the clock, and we have about 5 minutes left and another caller. So thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you for being my friend and sacrificing so that I could eat. And thank you.
Honestly, my needs are met, and if I had more, you'd get it. And sometimes I run it tight, but you're welcome. You're worth every bit of it, and I just hope people realize that at any rate. Let's go to the other caller. We'll hopefully have many shows to talk about these things in the future. Love you.
Yes. All right. Love you, too. Thanks so much. All right. Feel better.
Thank you. I am.
All right. Oh, goodness. How special. All right. Time is kind of winding down. We have about 5 minutes left. And our friend Matthew from Australia wants to come in here. And hopefully, did that work?
Yeah, that's worked, yeah.
Oh, we have Matthew with the cute little accent joining us. How are you doing?
Just a sec. Hey, how you doing?
Alive.
Hey, from Australia. Christie, it's so awesome to see you back on air. And I can't be happier. It's just brings back all the memories too, you know, back in the day, and so.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back. It's obviously a little rough, and you know, we need a little, I guess, assistance if we are going to make this happen, but I would like to see it happen. So thank you for being here and calling in and sharing your sweet, cheerful, smiley voice.
Yeah, all good. I just got to say I've had the craziest week. Just like, it's been full on, like all these synchronicities happening and just all this total craziness. So I'm just trying to come to terms with everything, but keeping on the topic with the show and all that, like I was thinking about, you know, people going through a tough time and dealing with suicide and stuff like that. I actually just wrote some things down. Like, I don't know, maybe it will help some people, or 'cause I know we've all been at that place, you know what I mean? Like you feel really down and stuff, and but I think the first thing that's really important is that like if you're feeling really down, like don't be afraid of that. Like that's as fine as feeling that way as it is like feeling really happy. Do you know what I mean? Most people are so programmed to like be scared of their emotions and stuff like that, whereas you just should be with them, and whatever they are, whether you're feeling sad or happy, it's all good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but like even when I'm feeling down, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Like I just stay with it, and like even it's gonna sound kind of weird, but I just kind of sit down at the table with it, and I just send it love and stuff like that. And I mean, love is like the highest kind of energy in the universe. So I think that kind of like transmutes it, if you know what I mean. So that's what I use anyway. I don't know if that's going to help anyone, but probably not. I don't know.
Hey, love is pretty. Can you think of anything more powerful than love? Anything more healing? Come on. That's what the world is missing. That's why everybody's sick and crazy and losing it. And, you know, we're in the tea kettle whistling. You know, we got to let off some steam. And it's a lack of love, a lack of self-love, a lack of brotherly love. And that's why I just feel so blessed to know people like you and everyone who's called in and here tonight, because, man, you're the cream of the crop, you know, and you really, these are the people
I don't know about that. I really don't know about that, but anyway.
Look, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to let you talk about my friend like that, and I'm going to do a little bragging on you, but I'm saying these are the cream of the crop. These are the people that go out of their way to help other people, to make other people feel good about themselves, that, you know, that they're the ones that give you that smile on the street when you were crying for one for years. And, you know, this Matthew here offered to help me in one of my times a couple years ago, and took time out of his life and his business to put together a site for me. And, you know, I was in a tough situation and I couldn't do any more, so I apologize that I wasn't able to continue. You know, hey, I've moved like 8 times since then.
It's all good.
I'm homeless.
Totally.
You know, I can't even take care of my own site. But he did shit. He got shit done. He said, Christy, I want to help you. What do you need? And he frickin' did it. So, yep. Don't be telling me that you are not the cream of the crop, okay?
Whatever.
So thank you.
No, that's all good, eh? Like, I don't know, like, we all might not be able to give with, like, money, like, but we can always, you know, like bartering and stuff like that, and just sharing what you're good at and share that with others who are in need. Like, I just happen to be pretty good at, like, web design and graphic design and stuff like that. So, and I saw something that I could do for Christy in that kind of aspect, and I just did it. But it's you know what? It's just my time. Like, what is that? It's nothing, you know? Like, how much time do I have here on this planet? You know, it's like.
I hear the music there, Matthew. I am so sorry. I thought we had a whole nother minute, but I want to thank you again for that. And if for some crazy reason you wanted to help with that again, I do need somebody to help me. But it's, you know, I don't have internet. I'm homeless. So I don't have a way to work on websites, but I want to say check the schedule, find Christie Aphrodite on Facebook, or you can go to Soul Journeys Radio to see when or if I'll be back. And if you do want to help the cause, souljourneysradio.com has a PayPal, or you can use souljourneysradio@yahoo.com to donate through PayPal. Thank you very much for being here. Abundant blessings and love to you all, and I hope to see you again soon. Good night, everybody.
When we step back and we look at Christie, and even Vinny as an example, and I'm curious to see how it works with him, but he has such a much larger audience and is hit it in a different angle, different way. But when you look at it, who her father is, and who he associates with, which is the world leaders, the Bushes, and the Clintons, and the Illuminati, and the Bohemian Grove group, that do use dark energy and dark spiritual practices in the sacrificing of children and drinking their blood and burning their flesh in old-style rituals to maintain their power base and to keep us under wraps. And then you look at Google, and they're the top of the range, and they're all we know that Facebook and Google and YouTube and all is owned by some dark ops of the U.S. government. Then we recognize that Christie is those people know her by her name. Somebody up there knows her by her name, and they have spoken and said, shut her the fuck down. And they've done everything. They've isolated her. They've done everything to take her out of the play. And it's because she has been successful at what she does. She didn't come out here to get a job. She didn't come out here to find a niche to fill and sell something to somebody. She came out here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to take no shit and to find the truth. And guess what? By exposing the lies, and there are very few that she hasn't exposed, and it's all on the record at truthbrigade.com and at souljourneysradio.com. It's all on the record. She's exposed it. Not only has she exposed it, but she's been a major player in being a part of developing solutions. And when you take the work that she's done and you match it up with the work that
I was listening to Tara Joyce on Freedom of Joyce on American Freedom Radio. I believe it was on 11/03/2015, and she had a guest on, Karen Ann McDonald. One of the things she was talking about was the free energy is here, it's a reality, the Keach Foundation plasma build. And she has reported that over 2,000 people worldwide were putting these free energy kits together. So the point is that's just one aspect of cannabis. Hemp are on the rise. We're starting to see increase in the use of hemp and cannabis. So it's just not a time to quit right now.
But it's really exciting. I watched the video of the machine being made, and it's true, and you can create megawatts of power in your backyard by turning a device with your hand. And if you were to hook it up to a windmill, or even put your children on and you got 4 children and put them for 2 hours a day pedaling, you can create enough power to power your house for the day. And then it also does, it deals with, it's just fascinating. So I say that we stay the fight, we stay the course, and we take our hits and we go up and down, and we aren't in this alone. We are reaching a breakover point. And as I talk to people day to day in the medical industry and in the industries that I pass through in my travels in this phase of my life, I have yet to find one human that doesn't say, you know what, Mr. Dove or Russ, you're right. I agree with you. And I even had the opportunity to tell one the other day, you just keep pressing, and because I've made the statement of like, well, you know there's something wrong and you know you need to do something, but what can you do? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, don't worry, we're working diligently for at some point in the not so distant future when you actually reach that point, we'll have something for you to do. And so any rate. You know me, I could go on forever. I want to thank you, Christie, for being on the air tonight and for sharing with me. I just needed to vent that out. Christie's not just the physical body needs to live. I need to know what Christie learned in the last 9 years in her head. And when I hear what I hear, I'm loving the little bit that I get to hear. And I'm looking so forward to seeing her back on air again and doing what she's doing, because she's had this time in the last 9 years to parse some things out, and with the strong discerning spirit that she does have, she's been able to rightly divide the truth, and I just am excited about the opportunity to hear her talk about it. God bless you, Christie. I love you, dear. I want everybody to join me in doing anything you can to help her. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you. That was beautiful.
You can help today by going to souljourneysradio.com and clicking on the Pitch In button in the center of the page, or the GoFundMe Fund for Christie in the right-hand column. Thanks again for all your support.
No rules, no rules, no taboo topics, no taboo topics, no fear of doom, no fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio, American Freedom Radio.
Well, that's all, folks. With your help, we'll be back again another day. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show.